Hard Knocks episode 6 in the books. Let's talk about what happened and some of the cool tidbits of it. What is up, Finn fans? Episode 6 in the books, and I love this episode. First and foremost is because it shows the preparation and getting ready for the Dallas Cowboy game, which we won. It shows kind of how the practice goes. It shows kind of who they focus on. It shows a lot of cool, interesting things. And to me, this one kind of like really gave you an idea of what this Miami Dolphin team is, and hopefully is going to be with the season going forward. So let's jump into this. Starts with Christian Wilkins buying the entire team Krispy Kreme. And then Mike McDaniel makes fun of him because saying that he's the cheapest one on the team. And then people are like, no, it's Liam. So I thought that was really funny. And then Mike McDaniel talks about taking the lesson they did with the Jets and having that narrow vision. And this is where the quote came from, where he tells them, he says to tell themselves and to tell the reporters when they ask about, getting the number 1 seed, winning the division, this, and that, to, what did he say? Shut the F up, or, respectfully, but focus, stay the course, one team at a time, which they need to, because again, we took care of business against the Cowboys, and now it's time to take care of business against the Ravens, get this AFC East title, and then take care of business against the Bills and get the number 1 seed. And then Tyreek Hill bought the whole team those scooters, and that's all I'm going to say. It just makes me nervous with them 40-mile-an-hour scooters. Ramsey got him foot massagers, and then they had gifts all situated for everyone to give, which was really cool. They showed Tyreek Hill in practice and him planting his foot and everything. And if you notice throughout the season, and this is what I like about Hard Knocks, because they record it and then they release it on Tuesday. So they record up to the game, and then they get the Monday to kind of edit it, and then they release it on Tuesday, is that if you remember last week, a lot of it was, we don't know if Tyreek Hill's going to play. He kind of looks off. He didn't practice on Wednesday. And then he ran out. He didn't do any interviews throughout the week. And everyone's like, is Tyreek going to play? Is Tyreek going to play? And when you watched Hard Knocks, he was going to play. The man was on fire, planting and moving and doing this and doing that. It was just, you knew. So that's like one of the reasons I'm really happy we're doing Hard Knocks, because you knew he was going to play. Watching him practice, you knew he was going to play. Then they showed Joe Samino, been with the team for 30 years. He's their equipment manager, and he was with them with Philman. He was with them with everyone, and he's in charge of the horn and all that stuff with practice and camp and all that stuff, moving them. And just talks about he was making the throwback jerseys. He was stitching the numbers on, cutting the thread, the dangling thread and cleaning them up and all that stuff. And I thought that was really cool. Again, the week before we saw about the turf, and then, I like that they're incorporating the behind the scenes people in the organization, because they're just as important as the players are. Talked about Alec Ingold. They showed Alec Ingold making sure to get the ball that Raheem Mostert had, breaking the single season rushing touchdown record for the Miami Dolphins. And he spiked the ball because he was excited. And then Alec Ingold, without even thinking about it, was like, we got to get the ball. Like, I thought that was super cool. And Mostert was like, my bad, my apologies for that. Then they showed Raheem Mostert with his kids. And then him going back to his town in Florida and giving toys out there. Then they showed the team taking some other kids out to Target. And Jerome Baker was like, you guys want any books? And he was like, of course you don't want any books. I'll say this, though. He wasn't walking with a limp, Jerome Baker. So we might get him back soon, which is really, really awesome. Then Mike McDaniel, they started focusing on which players are the ones we need to focus on. They didn't really talk about CeeDee Lamb, but they said they talked about Dak and how, 70% of the time when he uses his legs, they get the first down, and the outside linebacker pass rushers were focusing on containing him and doing what they need to do. The pass rushers on, talking about his scrambling, his mobility. Then they focused on Parsons and how he works, and then Tyreek Hill was like, so essentially it's me on defense, and Wes Welker was like, yeah, kind of, yeah, it is. And then during practice, he was like, this is a big game. I want them to be hyper focused. I want, there to be a fire. And he started going around and he was crap talking, saying to Tua, like, are you going to get the play call in or not? And he was going to this guy. He went over to Wes Welker and was like, hey, Sam Madison came over and told me to tell you he's sorry in advance for his corners choking your guys out. Like, he was just ramping them up for a huge, huge, huge practice that they needed. Cater Kohu, they talked about him. They talked about his family. This was the first time his family was able to watch him play. His dad, when they moved to the United States, was in Dallas, so he's a Cowboys fan. And he was like, I don't know who to root for now. His mother's like, the Dolphins, obviously. And his dad was talking about how him and Cater came over first, and then his mom and his sister came over after, which I thought was, amazing how they made their trip to the United States. Then Dan Marino was in the quarterback room for the gift exchanges. He said, let's play some Darius Rucker Christmas music. And if you don't know who Darius Rucker is, he is the lead singer of Hootie and the Blowfish. And there's an iconic song by them where he says, the Dolphins make him cry, because he's a Miami Dolphin fan. And Dan Marino was in that music video. Go listen to it. And they started giving out gifts. And I thought, now, Mike White, if you don't know the story about Mike White, right, he was with the Jets, but growing up, and there's pictures of Mike White as a Dolphin fan, and he's wearing a Marino jersey, and he got Dan Marino a Christmas gift, and, like, Marino gave him a hug and everything, and I was looking at my wife while we were watching that, and I told her the story. I said, that's like me giving Dan Marino a Christmas gift, and him just hanging out with me. Like, that's the type of person Mike White is. Like, obviously, he's the backup quarterback, and he's good enough to be in the NFL, but he's a fan. He grew up a Dolphins fan, which was crazy. And then Dan Marino got all the quarterbacks isotoner gloves. And for the OG Dolphin fans, or the Dolphin fans from the 90s, you kind of know more about what those isotoner gloves mean, especially to Dan Marino. And then Tua was so excited. He was so excited for them to open their gifts. And their gifts were huge. They were like these big boxes, and they were golf simulators. And he's like, I didn't get one for Dan because he already got one. And then Dan Marino said that we'll, because Tua was like, oh, practice so we can, you better your game, yada yada. And then Dan Marino, what did he say? He said they'll golf after the Super Bowl. Yes. Then Mike McDaniel said, coming out of the locker room, he said to the team that he was hoping and praying it comes down to the last second in the fourth quarter to win the game, so everyone can see how special we are. That's what that man. The man is like Notre Dame. One play touchdown, and then we had the one play, and now he's like, I want it to come down the last second in the fourth quarter for the rest of the NFL to see how special we are. And it did. It flipping did. And then Dan Marino was standing there with the quarterbacks in his gold jacket, his Hall of Fame jacket, and Mike McDaniel was behind him yelling, you're coming for your record, Dan. We're coming for your record. And then we got game time. And, they showed Cater Kohu, and on the touchdown drive to CeeDee Lamb, he was lined up against CeeDee. And then he pointed for Elliott to take CeeDee because, again, they were playing a zone. So he pointed. Elliott was slow to get over there. So, at first when you look at it, you blame Cater, but he was trying to, pass CeeDee off. Elliott was a little slow. Unfortunately, the touchdown happened. Then they showed the Jalen Ramsey, Raheem Mostert injury, and it was nasty. But he was fine. He came in, he got the touchdown, he made more runs, but they did take him out and they limited what he was doing on the ground. Then they went to halftime. Obviously, we were up, 13-7 at halftime. And Tua goes up to Teron Armstead, and he's like, I know I'm younger than you, but with all due respect, just want to tell you, dude, do whatever you want. Whatever you need to do, man, just do it. And I don't know in what context that meant and what he was saying, whether it was pass blocking or whatever, but he said to him, do whatever you got to do. Do whatever you got to do. And I thought that was interesting. Mike McDaniel, before they went out, he told Tyreek Hill to rest up because he was sitting down. He's like, get all the rest you can because you're getting a heavy load in the second half. And I was like, oh, God. It's kind of fitting that narrative that they are, they focus on Hill and they want to push it on him. But when they came out and they were out on the sideline, he was showing them on the tablet that they'd like to blitz the nickel corner and drop Parson back into coverage. Like Mike McDaniel had it all schemed up. Oh, this is what they're throwing at us. Like really good at halftime adjustment. And that's where Tyreek was doing his thing. And Tyreek said to Tua, I'm hot. Get it to me no matter what. Just get it to me. And you saw he was getting pumped up. We got the first down. He was screaming. But this is where I was like, I'm really happy with this team right now. Is the 3rd and 3 on the 33. And Tua's talking to Mike McDaniel. And he's like, you want to run Z something? And Tua's like, whatever you want to do, man. Whatever you want to do. I trust you. Whatever you want to do. He's like, all right, we'll run Z whatever. And it's essentially the screen to Tyreek Hill that got us the first down on 3rd and 3. But beforehand, he pulled all the receivers together. All of them. All the receivers that were in that play. And he told them how important this play was. And he told them how he needed them to do their best on this play. Essentially block. You got to block for Tyreek. Like, we saw what happened on that 4th down where we threw the bubble screen and you know, it just blew up and we, you know, lost down and all that stuff. Tua pulls them and even Welker pulls them together and how important it is. And then pre-snap, Tua literally goes over to the 3 wide receivers on his left and yells, it's man. Comes back, puts the motion on. The guy slips and falls and we all know the rest. First down, all that stuff. And then Mike McDaniel just being a friggin' setting up for the field goal. He's like, oh, we got this. This is nothing. He starts taking his headset off. They're not even kick. They didn't even kick the field goal yet. Oh, we got this. Where's Mike McCarthy? Where is he on the sideline so I can go say hi to him? Like, he was like, we won. He's going to make this field. So much confidence in his players. And then it ended with Raheem Mostert and his family opening Christmas gifts, which I thought was cool that he got to come back to Miami, Raheem Mostert. And then the Dolphins practicing their touchdown celebration with the choir, but then they couldn't do it because it was trying to get everyone. It was too big of a celebration. But I love this episode. I love this episode because of the whole that 3rd down play. You saw it behind the scenes. You saw the halftime adjustment. You saw the fire in the practice, the determination, the focus. I just loved what the Dolphins are doing right now. And they got to do it 2 more weeks. No, screw that. They got to do it. I want the first round bye, so I'm not counting that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They got to do it 5 more weeks, and they're Super Bowl champions. So stay hyper focused. One game at a time, one play at a time. And let's get this. But other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. So tomorrow I normally do something. Like, I have a video planned, but I'm going to do it tomorrow because Thursday's game, the Browns are playing. And tomorrow I'm going to put out the video of who we need to root for and root against, because the Browns are a team that we need to keep our eye on, because if we both end up 12-5, they overtake us. So I'll see you guys tomorrow with that video. But like usual, stay classy. And Vince out.